I'm led to believe it was you who found the body.
Yes, Your Honour, I was out for a wander in my local woods. That's when I came upon a body. It shocks me, I froze. Where 200 metres from the road, stabbed in his chest wearing designer clothes. Looked like there'd been a battle, the grass was trampled round the scene. I found a hairbrush and some zip ties were lying by this tree. I didn't see a car or a single other person. No knives, swords or weapons, of that I'm pretty certain. Yes, I saw the gentleman who's since been laid to rest, and may I be the first to say, may his soul be blessed. I was walking in the countryside, I saw his Peugeot 309 in the lay-by on the lane side with a lady I deemed to be his wife. Next to him she looked quite small, 5'4", maybe small. She was touching up her makeup, though I don't know what she needed for. He was sporting a lot of gold, a stylish look, expensive clothes. That's all I really remember, I simply passed by on the road.
Thank you, Your Holiness, you may now take a rest. Now can we hear from the officer who made the arrest?
On the night in question we attended a call. It was an RTA, a 309 had hit a wall. The suspect was arrested for the possession of carrying stolen credit cards and a dangerous weapon. Also taking a vehicle without the owner's concession. The plates match our victim and there is our connection. Off the record, as a young woman still remains missing. We think he killed her too, judging by his previous conviction.
Next witness to the stand. As I understand, you identified the body, so how did you know this man?
I knew the man who was slaughtered as he married my daughter. She's always been faithful, cause that's how she was brought up. She was so young-spirited, loyal and loving. It pains me to think what's become of her husband. He was so kind-hearted, maybe overly trusting. He would harm no one, in fact it's disgusting. Fuck that suspect, no justice will deal with this pain I feel. Till my daughter's been found, I just won't believe this is real.
The girl is still missing, so if you care to mention her whereabouts, I'll consider this when passing your sentence.
Yeah, I know my wrath. The fact is I don't know where the girl is at, and if I did, I'd be with her, tearing out her back. This all started yesterday, I was in the pub, having a chat with this guy and his missus, and I'm thinking, I'm having a piece of that. Said as it's a robbery, could get some stolen property and flog it to him proper cheap, appealing to his curiosity. So you see, he wasn't killed by me. The reason this guy died was his own damn greed. So I met him on the lane, he left his car as I approached. Not dressed for this terrain, he waited listening to the radio. I had sent him to this lay-by up the road nearby the woods. Said I'd catch him up on foot and then take him to the guts. Said I had to get a spade so we could dig the jewellery up. I went home to wash my dick so it was clean for her to suck. It's not inappropriate to say, it's a crucial detail. The reason this crime happened, there was that beautiful female. So Your Honour, suck my cock, we're the same, but you're afraid. I kill with my bare hands, you kill behind your name. With money, paper and a pen, you cut off people's needs. Does it mean you're less guilty cause your victims don't bleed?
This isn't about me, stop playing for the fame and glory. Would you please just stick to the story?
He stayed close to me as I led him to where the goods were supposed to be. Chatting jokingly, still remaining detached emotionally. He wasn't suspicious of my lies, so when I took him by surprise, I had him gagged and zip tied before he had time to realise. I went to fetch his girl, not sure exactly what I said. Something like he'd broke his legs. Before I finished off she sped. So far my plan had worked. She came running with concern until she came to where her husband lay, pulled a blade and turned. She swung a couple times, I knocked the knife out of her hand, threw her to the ground and proved I was a man. I was leaving when she grabbed my leg, pleading in fits of tears, and spoke words which I never heard before in all my years. She was ashamed of what took place, it was a shame she couldn't take, and couldn't continue living when two men knew of her fate. If I was truly a man, she said, I'd take her husband's life, and she swore to be my wife if I survived a fair fight.
You claim she suggested it, that this was her reaction? You expect us to believe that this was a crime of passion?
She had that very same look I first saw outside the pub. Lust wasn't enough for what we felt, this was stronger, this was love. I didn't want to kill him, it was never my intention. I suppose things would be different if those words were never mentioned. That's the reason that we fought, it was for love and nothing more. So I cut his ties, he jumped up and we started to brawl. It could have been minutes or seconds, but suddenly we both had weapons. He was swinging his blade wildly with far too much aggression. For him, I was too quick. He was tough, I must admit, yet not tough enough, and somehow his throat got slit. So whilst we were fighting, she must have given us the slip. I found her car keys in the purse and made my exit swift.
I believe you came from the hospital and claim you're responsible for the death of your husband. Tell me, how is this possible?
Fate has made it clear, I'm not even welcoming death. I made a promise to my husband, a promise I've not kept. The attacker had his way with me, then threw me to the ground. He took the contents from my purse and left my husband still bound. Shocked and dazed, I got up and ran to where my husband lay. I looked in my husband's eyes and saw nothing but shame. I saw my husband wanted to die, I felt exactly the same. As his gaze fell on the blade, the decision had been made. The two of us sat motionless, not drawing a breath. I promised him I'd follow him, to be with him in death. I plunged a knife into his chest, but I couldn't find the strength to take my own life. I just sobbed hysterically and wept. The gods have forsaken me to such and rape me with this grief. I killed my own husband and was violated by a thief. I tried and I tried, how I wanted to die. They found me unconscious in the river and that's how I survived.
Finally, now a medium communicating beyond the grave. This is unorthodox, let's hear what the dead man's got to say.
Never has such cruelty been spoken aloud. Never before have those words ever sound so foul. Those lips, that mouth, still haunt me now. Let me tell you what really happened to eliminate all doubt. He was consolating after violating my wife. And for all intents and purposes she believed he was right. Said I was responsible for being weak and vain. Our relationship now tarnished, won't be the same again. As a man could never respect a lover that's been taken by another, whereas he would have protected her. He did this because he loved her. Don't believe his lies, I kept screaming in my mind. No matter how hard I tried to catch a glance from her eyes. The next words I heard, I nearly died. Her gaze met his, then she spoke, alright. They left hand in hand when she turned around pale and white. Kill him, kill him, kill him, she began to recite. Her eyes stone cold with spite, even the thief had a fright. I didn't recognize her till the thief pushed her aside. He put a knife to her, said to me, you decide. Not I'll end her life, just give me the sign. I forgive him of his crime for that one line that he said. Before I could reply, she struggled from his grip and fled. Then he left muttering how his turn would be next. After cutting my ties, which I didn't expect, I sat motionless for hours, an emotional wreck. Then listened carefully as somebody nearby me wept. I realised the sobbing and the tears were mine. I was hurting inside, I was determined to die. Without hesitation, I picked up the blade and I thrust the steel into my chest. My mouth flooded with blood as I sank into the darkness, the last moments of life. Somebody, I don't know who, approached and removed the knife.